Hi, I'm Regan and welcome to the Cat Creations Knitting Podcast. Welcome to episode 4 or 5, I think. It has been several months. I am well overdue. It's been one of those years, what can I say? But I'm here now. I have a large cup of tea and I'm going to catch up with everyone. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the land from which I'm coming to you from, which is Wadawurrung land here in Ballarat. I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about some finished objects from other designers, some finished objects from me, designs that I've released, some future design plans, and maybe talk about some things I'm currently working on as well. So let's get started. First design I want to talk about is the Alma cardigan by Sanna and Co. And look at this beautiful cardigan. So this was, when did I finish this one? June, July I knitted this one. It is a bottom up cardigan. It's actually knit in the round with colour work at the bottom here, corrugated ribbing. The arms are knit separately and then attached, and then you finish the body off and then steeking. So you cut down the middle for the button band, which was exciting and terrifying at the same time because I'd never actually done it before. And it was just so easy knitting the entire thing in the round. I didn't have to split for like front and back. Everything was in the round and then you just cut up the middle. It was great. My button band is a little tight. You can see it's rolling just a little bit, and that is purely my tension. I think I got a little bit, I was rushing at the end and I just got a little bit tight. And then my sleeves are just a fraction, the colourwork section is a fraction too tight. But it's such a pretty, I mean you can't really tell, but it's such a pretty design. Like it's just, it's so pretty. It's actually looking really good in the camera light. So this one I knit in GOR Woollen Mill alpaca, the La Belle 8-ply, which is an alpaca merino mix. And then the colourwork section is actually Cascade 220, and I found that to be a really good gauge match for the La Belle, purely because the La Belle puffs up after blocking. So when you're working with it, it kind of looks a little bit wonky, and then when you've blocked it, it's just like beautiful. And it is really warm and really snuggly. Unfortunately, we are heading into spring, so I'm not getting a lot of wear out of it at the moment because the weather's just warming up that little bit, but I still get to put it on occasionally and it's just lovely. Super soft and snuggly, and it really does go with a lot of things as well, these colours. So that's the Alma cardigan by Sanna and Co. Next one has been a long time coming. I have finally finished my Novice cardigan. So this is a Petite Knit design. So the Novice cardigan, it's a really simple circular yoke cardigan. You just knit back and forth and stockinette, making increases every whatever centimetres or inches that they lead increases. I knit this one in some sock wool from Nundle, which I hand dyed with the colour Umber. So it's given that really rich kind of Irish setter colour. It's really pretty, this coppery red colour. And then I held that with mohair from Rowan yarns, which has, like, it is the softest mohair. It doesn't itch at all. I'm really sensitive to the texture of yarns, and this mohair is just gorgeous. It doesn't itch at all. You can wear it next to skin without any trouble. And this has taken me so many months to do, purely because it is plain stockinette in the round, and there were more exciting things to work on, like cables and lace design, so I just kept putting it down and forgetting it. But I set myself a goal to get it finished before the Australian Wool and Sheep show, so last minute push, I got there, it's done. And check out these little buttons, they're little leaves. How cute are they? Very hobbity. So yes, that's the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knits. Next one is quite a recent one actually. This is the Nikola top by Vert and Rose. I'll come up a bit closer so you can see. So this is a really sweet little, almost a vest. It's a little top, but I wear it as a vest. And it's got this really cute little repeating design of eyelets and garter stitch. And I did this as a test knit for Vert and Rose. So it was a bit of a squeeze to get it done in time. And it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I've knit this one in Tarndwarncoort 4-ply Polwarth. So a mixture of the hand-dyed colour. I can't remember off the top of my head what colour this is, but I'll put it in the description box below, and then just the standard cream colour that they have. And it's just this, it's really, the yarn itself is it's really soft and puffy, but it's not heavy, but very warm. So I probably won't get a lot of wear out of this over summer. It's not a summer top for me, just because of the climate we're in, but for autumn, winter, spring, over the top of a shirt or a little t-shirt, and it's adorable. The only thing I would change is I would probably make it just a slight bit longer. It just finishes at the top of just below my belly button. So I can wear it with high-waisted pants and skirts and dresses, but I wouldn't wear it on its own without something underneath it. Last thing is I have just finished my fourth Tolsta Tee. So here we go. One more Tolsta Tee done. So this one is knit in Drops Belle, which is a linen cotton mix. And I just did some random stripes on there. But I'm really looking forward to wearing this one over spring, summer. It's just got this nice kind of drapiness to it. It's just, yeah, kind of, I was a bit skeptical at first. I thought it might be a bit scratchy, but it's actually quite nice. I think it'll soften more with wear, but the drape's really nice. Probably not one I'm going to wear. I won't wear this in the middle of summer. Again, it's just that the 8-ply is just that little bit too thick for the weather here, and I do tend to run hot, so I might have to do a 4-ply version. We'll see. Now, I haven't talked about what I'm wearing. So, this is the first sample of my Lydiard sweater design. Lydiard is a sweater I'm working on. It's gone through a couple of iterations already, and I'm almost ready. It has had one round of tech editing, and I've still not quite, I need to make some changes. There were some issues with numbers, which is completely on me. And there's a couple of fit things I just want to tweak. So I've made 2 versions so far, and I'm about to start my 3rd. And I think the 3rd one's going to be it. So the original one, this one, is my baby. And the design hasn't changed too much. It's still quite an oversized raglan design with the cabling down the side. And this cabling runs right down to the bottom. So you can see you've got a panel in between. This cable runs right down to the bottom. But then, instead of a straight hem, we've got more cabling. So I'll just lift it up so you can see. There's my pants. So I've actually done a cable detail across the bottom here. The future designs, I've just updated this a little bit because it just isn't quite right. So I'm going to tweak that. I think I'll place the cables a little bit closer together, and the ribbing as well. So the way the cables are placed throws the ribbing out a little bit, so I just need to fix that up. The sleeves I'm quite happy with. I like the Belle sleeve. I like a puffy sleeve. But I think I'll put in options for, I'll put options in for a tapered sleeve for anyone who wants it. And I'm going to change the neckline slightly. You can see this one's stretched out quite a bit, and it's just the nature of the yarn and the gauge. But I'm going to put in an option for folded neckbands for a more secure fit as an option. So there'll be, I think I'll do a couple of options throughout the pattern. So you can have the option of just a straight 1x1 rib neckband, in which case, you know, it will probably stretch a little bit depending on how thick you do it, and that's perfectly okay if that's what you like. I will have an option to do a cropped one because I have done a cropped version, and I'll put in options for the sleeves, so you could taper the sleeves or leave them, you know, thick and bouncy depending on your preference. These, I mean, I just pull these up and they stay up quite nicely on me. They don't, I've got chunky arms, so I end up with a nice sleeve. And I just need to tweak that bottom hem. The other thing I'm considering, and I haven't quite decided, is to put in shaping at the back hem to drop it down a bit. So if I stand up, you can see, oh, I can barely see because I'm too short. You can see it just kind of hangs here, which is fine. But I think if it just dropped down that little bit more across the back side, I think the fit might just be like just right. Because it is oversized, it tends to look quite boxy and flowy. I mean, this yarn combination is really flowy. But if I drop that hem down a little bit at the back, it should just hug just a little bit. I don't want to do decreases because not everyone's built the same. So I don't want to like taper it in because then it could be too tight on some people and not others. But if I add short rows to the back at the bottom hem, so there's neck shaping at the top, so those short rows are there, so it sits up, like it's lengthwise, it's, but if I add short rows to the back to drop that hem down a little bit, I think it'll stop it, you know, flicking out. Also, I do hunch quite a bit, so it does tend to accentuate on me. So maybe I might put that in there as an option. So there'll be several options, as you know, you can kind of choose your own adventure through the pattern. So you can, do you want a folded neckline? Do you want just a straight ribbed neckline? Do you want it cropped? Do you want it longer length? Do you want puffy sleeves? Do you want tapered sleeves? Do you want to do short rows at the back or not? So there'll be 4 different options. So I think that'll create a really nice variety and kind of choose your own adventure sweater. Maybe I should call it that. In terms of yarn and gauge, so the gauge is 14 stitches and 20 rows, I think. So it's really quite loose and drapey. It works up really quickly. I think the fastest I've knit one up in is about 5 to 7 days. Because I'm insane, I like to set a really firm deadline for myself. The yarn, this one is knit in Rowan felted tweed, held with Fibre Spates Cumulus, which is an alpaca fluff, so a bit like that. So it's quite it's a heavy lace. And Rowan felted tweed it's an 8-ply, but it's not a full 8-ply. It doesn't really behave like an 8-ply. I feel like it's more of a sport, heavy sport maybe. So those held together, and then I've held a strand of, I don't know if you can see the sparkles. I've held a strand of Cremkey Stellaris with it. And so it's just a really fine thread. Actually, I think I've got, so this, it's a really fine thread, sparkle thread. Come on, focus. There we go. And it really doesn't impact gauge at all. So it's totally not necessary, I just wanted to be a little bit extra. And what you end up with is this like really soft, light. It's really light. This like, it looks thick and heavy, but it's actually really light fitting. It feels nice on your skin. Just that drape is perfect for me anyway. Now that's the first option with the yarn style. Then I wanted to have more variety. So I did another sample. And this is the cropped one I talked about earlier. So this one is a little bit shorter. So you can see if I hold it up against me, it kind of sits just up a few inches. What is it? 6 inches shorter. This one's also knit in GOR Woollen Mills La Bella 8 ply, and I think this is rose grey. So this one, yeah, cropped. I actually extended the cable section on the base, so I made it a little bit longer. Did a couple more repeats, which took a little bit of fiddling around with to get right. I omitted the ribbing at the bottom, so I've just bound off with a couple of rows of garter stitch. So you can see the ribbon's a little bit wonky here. And the other thing is I didn't do full length sleeve, so this is more of a 3/4 sleeve. I think from memory I didn't do any decreases either, so this is this sleeve but just finished here. So it fits, just kind of sits about here on me where this sleeve is sitting right now, but this is actually a full length sleeve. And this one is really snug. I do, because of the length of it, it is shorter because I ran out of yarn and I was impatient. I do wear this under dungarees more than anything else, so you don't actually see the cable detail, which is a real shame. This one, and I knitted this one a size smaller. So this is a 5, this is a 4. This one fits just like a perfect sweater. It's just like, it's loose enough to put over something, but not baggy like this one is. And it's not skin tight, so you're not going to be uncomfortable in it. And it's like, so you can see like the fabric is more, it's a lot more dense. It doesn't have that like flowy drape that this one does. And that's just because of the weight of the fibre. This is just a straight 8 ply, but it puffs up. It's a very heavy 8 ply. Whereas this is, you know, thinner yarns held together. So the idea with a pattern is that if you want loose and drapey, go with finer plies, same needle size. You'll get the gauge, but it'll be light and airy and drapey. If you want something thicker and more solid, say like this one, too bally, go with an 8 ply or a worsted weight. My plan is to do a true fingering weight with the heavy lace. So I'm just swatching these two together at the moment to see how that goes for like that real drapiness. I don't think I'll get another sample in between now and then. I was hoping to do one more sample in like a worsted weight yarn just to sort of see what the variance is like. I just wanted to have options for people. But I think 3 is enough for now. So that one, hopefully I'll have the pattern finished in the next couple of weeks. You can go back for tech editing, and maybe in a month or so I'll be able to open it up for testers. Okay, what else am I working on? I've started the design process for a cable cardigan. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to show you because I did have to rip out most of it last night. Because I miscounted my stitches and yeah, starting again. But it's okay, it's fixed. So all I have to show for it right now is a hem. So, sorry, I have no more to show you. This is Malabrigo Rios in the colour Sunset. Actually, oh, I do have a swatch. I can show you the swatch. So I did some swatching, and I think I'm tweaking the design from here. I'm not that's staying and that is staying. I think I'm getting rid of these and swapping them out for something else. You might notice the swatch itself, I've got two sides, two versions of this, you can see. So this side has 2 purl stitches between the cable. So it goes like cable, 2 purl stitches, column, 2 purl, cable, 2 purl, blah, blah. This side has 1 purl stitch in between. And I think I prefer the single purl because that just feels a little bit too spaced out for me. And it's blocked out wider than the other side. I don't know if you can tell. You can see like this purl side is actually sitting higher than this one. So if I open it up, maybe you can't tell. I can tell. It feels like this side blocked out a lot more than this one because of those extra purl stitches. Whereas this one, with the single purl in between, just has that little bit more, like it's just a little bit more smushed together. And I actually think I prefer that because as you wear it, it's going to naturally want to stretch out anyway because cables like to do that. And I know this yarn is going to give a little bit more, so I'm sticking with the single purl in between the cables rather than the double because I feel like this is just going to stretch out too much. Keep working on that one. That's a while away yet. The other item I am working on is I'm doing a test knit. Surprise, surprise. I'm always doing test knits now. I think I said in my first video that I wasn't doing test knits because I didn't enjoy them and I didn't enjoy the idea of knitting to a deadline, and now I am obsessed with doing them because I just love the process. I am knitting okay, it's called Rust by Trin Annalee, I think. It's a top-down, it's like a circular yoke sweater, but it's got this detailing. It's not cabling, it's not lace. It's more like a knit purl detail through the top, and it's so pretty. And the folded neckband. I love a folded neckband. Look at that. Look at that. It's perfect. As you can see, not very far through it. Need to pick up the pace on that one. I'm knitting this one in Cascade 220 in the colour Pumpkin Spice, which feels very appropriate for this time of year. Even though it's spring, I love me some Halloween vibes and pumpkin spice. I am a bit basic. So when that one's finished, I will show you. Okay, they are my whips. Let's talk about designs and design releases. So a few months ago, I released my very first design, which is the Goldfields cable sock. My sample is in the wash. I can't show you right now, so I'm going to put a picture up over here. And the process of knitting and releasing that was just amazing. What can I say? It was nerve-wracking, like releasing my first design and writing the pattern, even though like, it's just a sock. You know, I kept saying it's just a sock, it's just a sock. But sitting down and going, okay, well, what's my gauge? How does a pattern fit within that gauge? Do I need to adjust numbers? How do I make sure that it's going to fit multiple sizes? You know, what tweaks do I need to make? What do I need to consider? And then test knitting. Like I went through that process of writing the pattern, sent it off for tech editing. That was fine. Was very excited. There's a few things I wasn't quite prepared for. Like I had no idea about like a style guide, and I was like, I don't have a style guide. Shit. So I have been tweaking that. So some of my newer patterns are looking a little different to the original ones. And then I put the call out for testers to test knit the sock. And I was expecting like, 5, maybe 10 people, if that. And so I thought, oh, I'll go wide and I'll put a call up on my Instagram, which I did. And I don't have a huge Instagram following. It's very small. Again, that's fine. I'm going to put a story up, put a call out for test knitters. And then I thought, oh, I'll go to some of the Facebook groups for sock knitting. And I'll put a call in there and just ask for people who are wanting to test knit, a brand new design from a brand new designer. A couple of groups said, no, you can't do that. But a couple were like, yep, post away. Within about 24 to 48 hours, I had 56 applications, I think it was, for test knitting. And I had to turn it off because I was like, there's just no way I can say no to anyone. So I actually just went, everyone gets to test knit. So my first test knit group was about 50 people. And I set up a Facebook group and they all went in there and they were knitting away and sharing their results and like things that were, they were struggling with the knit, the sock. So we worked through some issues there, and it was mostly around the fact that because it's got cabling, that it doesn't have as great a stretch as a plain vanilla sock. So some people could just adjust the gauge or know not to knit too tight. Other people, we workshopped removing some of the cables from the back of the sock so that they would get more stretch from the back of the sock to the front. And some people just had to go up a size. And it was just fabulous. Like, the feedback was incredible. The group were just insane. They were like hyping me up, hyping each other up, sharing their progress. It was just the most incredible experience. And then when they finished and I was ready to launch, I hit launch, there you go, published the pattern on Ravelry, and immediately went into the top 20 emerging designers, like debut patterns. And I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. Couldn't believe it. Just because I had that interest generated from these test knitters that were posting, sneak peeks and really hyping me up, and putting their test knits into Ravelry as well. And it's just been a fantastic experience. The sales from that sock have allowed me to then get another sock, the next sock tech edited. And so it's really just, at the moment, I don't make money off pattern design, like designing anything. But the patterns are paying for themselves, let's put it that way. So that's been a really, really good experience. It's really encouraging. And interestingly enough, I think it's quite like looking at sales, and I'm completely going off on a tangent here, but looking at the sales, a lot of my sales are coming from overseas, from the Northern Hemisphere. And I'm curious as to why. And it is not a reflection on the local market at all, because the community in Australia here is amazing. Everyone's really supportive. But I have been adding in, like I really wanted to add into my designs elements of the region that I live in, or in Australia, just because I guess I do love where I live. So the Goldfields is the region I live in. It's sort of an informal name for this region. These areas where I live were settled initially because people found gold here, so they were gold mining areas, and there's still lots of gold mining happening around here. So Goldfields just felt really right for this particular design. And I try to add like a little bit of text to say, what's inspired me about the design, and like something about the area, or just a little snippet of something. So I wonder if that's where the interest is coming from, that little piece around the region I live in, or Australia, or I don't know. I'm curious. I'd love feedback on that. Like, why are my designs popular in the Northern Hemisphere? Like, what's going on there? So that's the Goldfield socks. They're just beautiful, and I need to make more. Then I released 2 socks at once. One was the Vintage Talbot, which is just a really simple lace pattern down the front on both sides. So it's a really beginner friendly lace pattern sock, just very vintagey kind of feel to it. The ribbing at the top is like a broken rib, 2x2 broken rib. So knit one round, knit one, knit two, purl two, knit one round, knit two, purl two, repeat. And then into this lace design, which is really, it's like a 12 stitch repeat. It's really easy to memorize. While I was working on these, I decided to release a free pattern. So if you are interested in my patterns and you want a little taster, I have a vanilla sock pattern that is up on Ravelry. It is a free pattern, so go ahead and download it. It's just the basic sock recipe for many designs or many socks that I've done over the years. Heel flap and gusset. I just stockinette stitching around, but these are super comfy and my go-to. Again, free pattern. Who doesn't love a free pattern? So go and have a look. But my testers often did, the testers for those ones, they had the choice of doing one or the other or both. And so many people went, you know what, we'll do both. And they did. And it was just, again, like just a lovely test group. What can I say else? Oh, yarn. What have I knit these in? These are knit in, this is West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply. I don't even remember the colour. It's purple. I don't know. It's not my favourite yarn to work with, but it is quite hardy. Like, it's a bit sticky, a bit catchy, but at the same time it means that if you drop a stitch, it kind of just stays there. I do notice that these do felt over time if you stick them in the wash and dry like I do, so don't do that. This one is knit in Passion Flower. Is the brand name. This is the colourway Snozzberries, and I was at a yarn fair over the weekend and they had more of it, and I nearly bought this colour again, but I decided to get something new. But this colour, like, how cool is this? It's like rainbows. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. It's like a rainbow, but it's like every row is different coloured. And that's not me doing anything weird with the yarn. Like, that's just how it works up. And you can see, like, there's these bands of orange through it, which honestly don't show up like that in real life. I don't know what's going on there. Oh. So it's got that very mild colour pooling, but it's so trippy. I love it. So they're my current releases. The fourth one is coming next week. So what I have done is a Halloween inspired design. So let me grab, there we go. Okay. So for starters, we've got the Cat-o'-lantern Halloween socks. So he's got black cats, striped foot and leg, and little candy corn down the bottom. Some people have called these claws or cake slices. That's fine. They're supposed to be candy corn. It's fine if they're not. So these are in test knitting at the moment, and the designs that are coming through are just insanely good. The different colours that people are coming up with. I think this would be really cool with green or like more orange. Perhaps like instead of yellow, do just orange in the background. I was just trying to mix up the colours with this one. But while they were test knitting, I decided to do another chart that fits the same sock. So I've done some jack-o'-lantern faces, and this will be a bonus chart if you purchase this pattern. So if you want the cats and the jack-o'-lanterns, or if you want the jack-o'-lanterns, you need to buy the cats. So this fits on the same leg panel. It's the same size. I've just changed the jack-o'-lantern. So the cats, instead of cats, we've got jack-o'-lantern faces. And this little decoration on top here is slightly different. So it's just 2 colours. 3 colours. So it goes purple to green, and then purple to orange. And then we've got, I've just alternated the toe. So this one's got purple cuff, heel and toe, and this one's got purple cuff with green heel, green toe. Still has the candy corn down the bottom. But just, you can wear them together if you wanted to. You could do them in the same colours. You could do them differently. I think they're really cute. I can't wait to wear these. I need to make more. I have so many. Like, I just want to make lots of socks. So these are coming out next week, if all goes well. These have been really fun. They're just, yeah, super fun to make. And the colourwork section is only on the leg. So as long as you don't knit too tight here, you won't have any issues getting the sock on and off, because this section here is just super stretchy. It is just you're just alternating the yarn every second row. So you don't need to cut the yarn when you're doing the stripes. You just switch it over. I don't worry about jogs. Some of my testers have been working on like jogless stripes. I haven't bothered because they're socks and I'm not that phased. But yeah, really nice. These are just a mixture of hand-dyed yarns and store commercial yarns that I have had lying around. The orange is one that I've dyed myself. I don't know the colour, I'm sorry. I really don't. I think I just mixed some colours and made bright pumpkin orange. But all the details will be in the pattern itself. Please support if you can, like, share. If you can't buy the pattern, favoriting it, adding it to your wish list just helps boost it as well. And that allows me to make more socks and more designs for people. I have one more design to show you. This one is in tech editing at the moment, and it should be ready for testing in the next week or so. And this one is called the Bushland Breeze. This is very Australiana, green and gold. So the design is, you can see we've got the cuff is slightly different. We've got garter stripes through the cuff. We've got some pattern. We've got a leaf motif that kind of floats all the way around the leg. More pattern. This one's a short row heel, so I've added the option for a short row heel for this pattern. Plus there is the heel flap and gusset option, so both are in there in the pattern. We've got some corrugated ribbing through the foot, and this is just going to help hold that sock onto your foot, and then the contrast toe. So I'm really proud of these ones. These feel really, really Australian, and I got inspired by these watching the Olympics. And also this time of year in Australia is very green and gold. So the trees are green. A lot of the native flowers, like the wattles, are yellow. And I'm just looking at my front yard because some of my trees are blooming. So you will see a lot of green and gold around. And that's what inspired these. Now, the yarn I've used, I haven't used any hand-dyed yarns for this one. This main colour is Regia yarns. I think it's the colour Camel Mail or Natural. This orange or brown or yellow, whatever you want to call it, it's colour Nutmeg by West Yorkshire Spinners. And then this dark green is Hobby Rainbow Sock Yarn, I think it is, in olive green or dark olive. I just grab whatever I've got lying around that works nicely together. So these will be ready for testing very soon, hopefully be released towards the end of October. But after that, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have some more sock designs I want to do, but I think I'm going to shift my focus onto these sweaters, the sweater and cardigans, and try and get them out before I was going to say the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe the beginning of next year. Heading into summer, this is where I'm torn. I'm a little torn because we're at the beginning of spring now, the weather is going to warm up, which means it ceases being knitwear weather. It becomes more, I mean, I still knit myself. That doesn't bother me. But I know not everyone wants to wear, like, knit a big heavy sweater if it's really hot. So, but then going by the sales, a lot of my market is in the Northern Hemisphere where it is getting colder. So it makes sense to have sweaters there. So I'm tossing up between just ignoring the seasons and just designing and releasing how I feel with what's ready. Or do I try and tailor to the market? Or am I then exclude? I don't want to exclude people. So we'll see. It also depends on how things go. I mean, if sales are really bad, then there won't be anything coming out because I'm trying not to invest too much of my own finances into this project unless I really, really want to. At the moment, again, patterns are paying for themselves. If patterns could pay for their yarn, that would be great. But at the moment, they're paying for tech editing, so that's good. That's good enough for me. This is fun. I think that's it knit-wise. I think I'm talked out, so I'm going to finish here. It's been lovely catching up with you all. Please let me know your thoughts on design and what you want to see, what you want me to talk about. All my details will be linked below in the description box, and hopefully I will not leave it 6 months between videos. Thanks, guys.